And you're live. Here we go.
We thought we'd try this. We don't know if anyone will tune in because no previous announcement. But Adam and I are in the same place, same time. We got a verdict today. So we thought we'd see if anyone, 5 of you have jumped on. So the 7 of us can have a good live conversation.
Yeah. By the way, thank everybody for all the thoughts and prayers and text messages and all that, the last 2 weeks of Brandon's trial, for some reason, it's been just as difficult as all the other trials. And you'd think that we would get used to it, or there would be, it would get easier. And for some reason, it just doesn't get easier. My mind tells me after Chad's trial, okay, the next trial, Charles's trial is going to be easier. It wasn't. Okay, Brandon's trial is going to be easier. It wasn't. So all the people that have been saying, hey, we're with you, our prayers and thoughts, I just got so many messages. I appreciate everybody who's concerned and also giving us all this support. We need it. So yeah, it's been a rough couple of weeks.
Yeah, that's surprising for me too. I don't even feel that I don't feel like celebrating. That's why I didn't go down to the courthouse today. People there are wonderful, and it's kind of a party atmosphere, I think. Nothing wrong with that. They aren't doing anything wrong, but that's just not how I view this. So, but a few people have joined us, 137. I was going to shout out everyone that was on there, but
not gonna happen now.
But at least Ellie made her first live. So
Ellie, congratulations!
Who made a live?
We'll see what happens when you do it at 4:00 in the afternoon Pacific time. And who knows what time it is in Australia or Brazil or wherever else people listen to it or watch it.
But look at that, Sandra Caulfield is from Australia.
There we go. We know we have a lot of support coming from Australia. Yeah. We love everybody there.
Yeah, we feel this support even from the far reaches of Idaho,
Utah,
Florida.
Yeah, everywhere.
We don't care where it's from.
But I understand why people celebrate they got a verdict that we want to. I think we all knew Lori didn't have a defense. She didn't have a defense in any of this. Really, we all know that it was all calculated. It was all planned. Her and Chad and Alex had this whole thing going. And so it was just all on display for everybody to see what was actually happening. So we did get more answers, not all the answers we wanted like we thought, but we got some more answers and things that we didn't know. But obviously the whole thing is all tied together. And so, and then people always say like, oh, why would Lori, try to do, we're talking about somebody who is just,
there you go, defending her.
Yeah. No, I know, but somebody is like, oh, Adam's always, I can't watch this podcast anymore. Adam's defending Lori. When did I ever defend Lori? Never. I've never defended Lori.
And by the way, if you feel that way, please do not watch this podcast.
Yeah.
If something like, if you make a comment like that.
Yeah.
In fact, anytime the thought crosses your mind, I can't watch this anymore, please don't.
Yeah.
We don't want to bring that type of energy to you. We don't need that type of energy. We need the type of energy that all the rest of these wonderful people are providing.
Yeah, we're not like some of the other podcasts, and I'm not going to mention names, but we're not like that. So
we're more like the Jury Duty podcast, the positive one.
Yes, we're positive. But as far as Lori goes, yes, she got convicted. Yes, she should be convicted. Yes, I knew she was going to be convicted. I mean, there has never been a doubt in my mind with any of these court cases that she was ever going to get off. So to me, I was just going through the motions of, okay, we're just going to go through and hear the things we're going to hear. At the end, it's going to be a guilty verdict. She's going to get 5 or 6 life sentences. Chad has the death penalty and Alex is dead. So all 3 of them are getting justice. So there's really nothing more we can do.
Yeah, someone asked us, I'm sorry, I scrolled through it. What are our church callings and does that help? We've avoided, not avoided, we don't talk much about church because it's what do you call that when it causes division or confusion? We don't talk much about it, but we both have callings. I teach primary.
I'm a minister. I told the bishop came over to my house and I was like, I really don't want a calling right now. I really don't. I'm just going to be happy to go to take sacrament, go to class, and not worry about anything. So yeah, I'm not doing any callings right now. But I did have an interesting conversation last night with somebody who stopped by at my pickleball place, and we were talking about the case. And she used to be Christian. She's not Christian anymore. But there's people, and I realized, I said, well, we have a lot of people that watch our podcast. Some are LDS, some are Christians, some aren't Christians, some are atheists. I said, some just have a belief in something higher, like this lady that I was talking to last night. And it's okay. I said, everybody has their thing, whatever. And there's no really reason to judge anybody of how they believe or what makes them feel good as far as spirituality and the things that convey to them. So that's kind of what this podcast has been. Rex and I don't dive deep into really into anything, but especially religion. And so I'm open to let everybody believe how they want to believe, whatever spirituality things that make you feel good. I'm on board all of that. I just don't like when people judge other people or judge a church for something somebody else did or those kinds of things. It doesn't make sense to me.
As long as we're on that, I'll chime in there too. Someone commented, it was like a couple podcasts ago, that you and I need to go to a non-LDS therapist and get away from the church. And I don't mind anybody making comments like that. I'm sure there's some concern in there, but can you imagine? I try to imagine how arrogant I would have to be to tell someone how to live, what type of therapist they need to have.
Yes.
When I don't know them. And the reason I think that's arrogance is because other than Adam, I'm thinking of people on the podcast, maybe Lindsay, because Lindsay and I have talked a lot, and maybe Primetime, KCL Primetime, that made those biographies of us.
Yeah.
Out of nothing.
Yeah, which was amazing, by the way.
Just because I think she has magical powers, no one else would know what role religion plays in my life, how I view it, why I choose the religion I do. No one has an idea. And it reminds me that when we're labeling people by anything, in this case, we're talking about religion, we're discounting the person. How arrogant is it to say this person chooses this religion or this profession or this whatever construct, man-made construct there is in the world, and judge them by it.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I don't have any energy to judge other people like that.
Yeah.
It's just wasted energy. So we haven't talked a lot about it, but we don't mind talking about it.
Right. We're open to whatever that is. But like I said, everybody, whatever makes you feel good, just do you, is what I like to say.
Yeah. And I have Tall Red Texas comment here. It seems to be heavier, more emotional. All the victims, going back to our comment we were saying earlier.
Yeah.
Our friend Tall Red from Texas. But this comment I wanted to put up from Marianne Coots. It's not choosing it, it is forcing it on others as truth. Yeah, that was that's kind of what I'm
just
saying.
going back, and we'll go forward. We won't talk about religion anymore, but I know a lot of people think that the LDS religion is a cult. So then they say you can't see it because you're in the cult. So but I've been to probably, 15 other churches that are
15 other cults
that are Christian, just Christian churches, and they're fine. Everything's fine. I've seen outside the cult apparently. And I think it's great that everybody has something that they believe in. And the big thing for me is Jesus Christ. So if that's the centerpiece of whose ever life it is that that they want to make that their centerpiece, that's my centerpiece. And like Rex said, you don't know what Rex believes, you don't know all the things, but everybody has their own individual. So that's why we don't really judge on this. If you're atheist, don't judge. You whatever you feel is right for you.
And Chloe's comment here is why we're talking about this in connection with today. Chloe said, I said my piece earlier and people were slating Brandon for mentioning God in his statement. Like, this is part of his life. He has every right to it. Heck yeah, Brandon's making a statement from his heart.
Yeah.
Who's more genuine than Brandon?
Yeah.
And heartfelt. So
yeah,
Brandon can state whatever he darn well pleases.
Yeah, no matter what. And I feel like, doing this podcast for 2 years, Rex and I have been judged by lots of people. And just part of, I guess it's just part of,
we're okay with
people are just going to do it. But we just like to spread the word to less judgment and let people be who they want to be.
Yeah. Switching gears a little, Brandon Kuhn. Now, Brandon, you made a comment on the last podcast. I think in the comments afterwards, maybe it was one I thought, oh, I should bring that up next time. Sorry, I didn't capture. I don't know what it was, but good comment. Thank you for it. Brandon asked, were you all surprised the verdict was so quick, 25 minutes?
I'm not, but only because Lori doesn't have a defense. They can see. I think Trina presented exactly what happened, and it was all there, just like in Charles's case. To me, these are all no-brainers. Of course, obviously, I have a different view knowing all the things that I learned and found out. But yeah, I'm not surprised at all.
Well, I'm surprised it took that long. I suspect it's just because there's only one restroom and, they had to take turns going in and out in the courtroom. So,
yeah.
Oh, but let me say this. I know a lot of you, probably most of you are invested somewhat emotionally in this case. I sat by some optimists that were there from Kentucky.
Oh, wow.
In the trial yesterday. And we were talking about that most people that follow this case do it because when Tylee and JJ were missing, they adopted them emotionally and became emotionally involved. So this damages all of us. But some people are not. Some people are just doing it out of curiosity. It's their entertainment, which is true for 57% of people in the United States. They use true crime for their entertainment. Okay. And we understand that. Many of you are doing that. You don't have to be emotionally involved in it to participate and be part of our group, to be a very welcome part of our group. And there is a warped entertaining value. And I say that because I think mine's warped. I'm about to share it. The entertainment I got out of this, and I tried not to get much entertainment because, there's just too much emotion, as Tall Red said. But it really was entertaining for me, both trials. When Trina K laid out her closing argument, very methodical, very thorough. I thought she did such an excellent job. And then Lori came up and was Lori, and that fired Trina up. And both times she got up and she, on the rebuttal, had that emotion, that fire, and didn't say the words, but it was like, are you freaking kidding me? And got up and put some emotion into it. That was my entertainment. I loved that. Yeah. And I think that carried it home well to the jury. So I appreciate Trina K for several reasons. That being one, for providing my entertainment in it, because she was not saying it, but she is communicating through her emotion what I think we were all feeling. Mm-hmm. Are you freaking kidding me?
Yeah. When it comes to just true crime in general, there's just people who are gravitated to it because these are all true stories. Like Lori's story, it's different. It's crazier than fiction. you can't just write things like that. Just the things like that just don't happen. So I know that's a entertainment value for people because they're so curious. It's like, how could this possibly happen in this story? Other people like court. They're intrigued by the process of court, how one argues the other, and who's